You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Kirk Mona, and joining me are Rachel Gimza and Victoria Thompson. We're all naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders, just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. So good to be back here with all of you once again. I want to talk to everybody this week about the archerfish. You heard of those before?
Are those the ones that spit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these are
those are cool.
Some very cool fish. Now, visually, the fish themselves are not much to look at. They're typically silver with black stripes. They're about 12 to 18 centimeters. That's 5 to 7 inches in length. And there's like 10 different species. They're mostly found in streams, ponds, and wetlands in an area from roughly like Bangladesh south to northern Australia. That's kind of the area we're talking about. And what makes archerfish so unique, and indeed how they get their name, is because of how they hunt. So they lurk near the surface of the water, and they look up through the water, up into the air, for insects that are either flying close to the water or maybe hanging onto vegetation. And when the time is right, they can blast a forceful jet of water up into the air and knock the insect off the branch, or indeed right out of midair flight and down into the water. And
Amazing.
Once the insect is in the water, they can then gobble up their lunch. Now, you may be picturing like a little spurt of water catching some insect just above the surface, but oh no, archerfish can shoot a jet of water accurately up to 3 meters.
What?
Oh!
What?
Or
Hold on.
10 feet out of the water.
No. Yeah, we need to spend some time on this. What do you mean 3 meters? 10 feet? 10 feet.
Yes.
That is almost 2 of me. That is almost 2 of me. That is 2. No. This fish could take me down, is what I'm hearing. Or at least like aim
accurately
water.
too.
Squirt in your eye.
Absolutely not.
They can shoot it right in your eye, Rachel.
Oh my goodness. That's
Now,
insane.
That's a pretty wild adaptation. And there is,
how do you even like get to that? Adaptations are weird. Keep going.
well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here, right? So clearly they have good eyesight because they can see not just stuff in the water, but they can see up into the air as well. What's going on?
And that
10
is
feet
different
above the water.
That like weird refraction thing going on.
Exactly. There's this diffraction of light coming through the air-water layer. As some listeners will know, water refracts light. And so things are not exactly where they appear to be when you look from the water to the air or the air to the water, right? And so not only can they see their prey, but they also are able to adjust for where they are aiming, because it's not exactly, the thing is not actually where it looks like it is.
Yeah, that's what's so wild.
So the fact that they can even produce this stream of water is also just amazing, and do it so accurately. These are just such cool fish. Researchers have apparently also seen them using these water jets underwater to get to insects that are hiding down in the muck or the substrate at the bottom of a pond, so they can like shoot a jet of water to like, knock things out of the mud as well, and then snatch them up when they come out of there. So, and that's actually a completely different skill set and different adaptation than shooting stuff. So it's like seeing that happen. You're like, wait, these are doing. I mean, it's related, but it's clearly different too, because the mechanics are different behind it.
Smart fish.
Yeah, very cool. Now this is all super cool and super weird, and it is only
you got to that really fast.
Tangentially related to my topic this week.
Oh,
what?
Well,
Yeah,
I was
know, right?
fully ready for archerfish. That was so fun.
Well, no, it involves archerfish. Now we do have to get in our time machine and head way back to the year 2016.
Okay.
I remember back that far there.
Yep.
Yeah.
When a team of scientists from the University of Oxford in the UK and the University of Queensland in where, Rachel?
Australia.
Correct. Undertook seriously amazing research project. They chose as their subject the archerfish.
Good
and
choice.
what these scientists did, you got to picture this. They had archerfish in a tank, and they hung a like flat screen computer monitor over the surface of the aquarium.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting like flashbacks. Like I feel like I heard about this.
Maybe we'll see if it rings any bells as I go on. And this is like maybe like a foot or two above the surface of the water, and they trained the fish to shoot water at the image of a person's face on the monitor, which apparently did not take a whole lot of training. They some of them, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Some
please
of the fish
let them
picked
be
up on
petty.
it. Yeah, some of them picked up on it in just one training session. Some of them
That's
Told you
fast.
they were
took,
smart.
I want to say like 3, 4, 5 sessions, but they all picked up on what they were supposed to do. They saw the face, shoot water at it, and then they'd get a reward dropped in. And it's basically just operant conditioning, right, to get them to do this.
Sure.
Now, if that's all they did, and it was the face of one of their friends, you can see how this would be an amazing
That'd
setup
be
for a practical
so
joke.
hilarious.
Really great.
Come look at my fish.
Candidate for
Right
Ig
in the
Nobel
face, right?
Prize. There.
That would be, yeah, Ig Nobel Prize material all the way there. So they trained the fish. What they actually did, though, is it wasn't a practical joke. They trained the fish to shoot water at one specific face. And the fish were rewarded for a food treat every time that they squirted this face. Like I said, this is basic operant conditioning. And the result is kind of interesting that in the first place, it's interesting that you can train a fish to do something they would not normally do, but they do it to get food. That alone is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard about a fish being trained before.
I mean, it's
actually
news when you get to, when you figure, like, it's news that people have been able to train like reptiles and things. Like they are trainable, but you don't think of them as trainable.
Yeah. So this is really, really, that in of itself, that would be a cool research discovery. That's not what this is about, though.
Okay.
But
wait,
because
more.
the researchers took this further. They next introduced more faces, but only gave out rewards to the fish if they shot the water at the correct original face.
Oh.
They're trying to see, can fish recognize human faces?
Different human
And it
faces.
turns out they were. The researchers introduced, get this, 44 different faces to the fish.
My
And
God.
81% of the time, they were still able to recognize the correct face.
Wow.
Which
That's
is
nuts.
just wild to me. So this does show that fish can recognize human faces. But in a second experiment, they did what I thought would make it even harder. They actually standardized the faces by making them all just black and white as opposed to colored faces. And then making the heads all the same shape. So they basically like stamped them out with like an oval shape. So there was no like ears and things like that. It was just the facial features, which I think would make this even harder if there's less to keep.
I think I would struggle with that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Rachel would struggle with this. So amazingly, you're welcome. This didn't make it any harder. It actually seemed to help the fish, and their success rate climbed to 86% of identifying the correct face.
What?
Yeah, this is such a wild discovery. As we have long thought that facial recognition was a distinctly human trait. We actually have special parts of our brain that we know are devoted just to recognizing faces because it's such an important human thing. And this takes place in the neocortex in the brain. And to be clear, fish completely lack a neocortex in their brain.
Right.
So the prevailing wisdom would be that this is something that is impossible for fish to do, and yet here
should not be able to do this.
a fish that can do this. I had previously talked on the show about how birds, specifically crows, can remember specific human faces.
Crows.
Yeah, for at
There's
least
some
6.5
really
years.
fascinating research with that. Yeah.
Yep.
I think there was
but-
some other bird I talked about recently that also could recognize individual humans.
Yeah, we're starting to do
Okay.
more research into
Yeah.
vision systems in birds, but now they're
Mhm.
doing it in fish, and discovering this is like just wild to think that fish have a similar ability. So for those of you with pet fish who feel like they know you and recognize you and act different toward you than other people, it probably isn't your imagination. And I used to work at a big, 1.3 million gallon aquarium, and I certainly knew the fish there were much smarter than people gave them credit for. They would,
Mhm.
I think recognize certain people on the husbandry staff. They would know when it was mealtime. They understood the clock. They understood a sense of time. All kinds of stuff that we often think fish can't. So this is pretty wild, though, that they would be able to recognize specific people. And fish really do have
Yeah.
incredible memories. And I guess that shouldn't really surprise us. Fish live in incredibly complex environments that are full of
Yeah.
predators and prey. And recognizing what is safe to eat and what is likely to eat you are important core survival mechanisms. Like if you're not able to recognize, those kind of things, you're going to die. In nature, pattern recognition equals survival. And I'm
Yeah.
betting facial recognition is like this, where it's fundamentally just pattern recognition. This is going to be an area where we see more and more research in the coming years showing that way more animals probably can do this than we suspect. And so this amazing research, if you want to learn more about it, was detailed in a journal article called Discrimination of Human Faces by Archerfish. Pretty good, easy title there. It appeared in the June 2016 edition of Scientific Reports. And yes, this is an open access journal. Yay!
Yay!
So you can read all the details for free if you want to go check it out. So that's what I have for you. Spitting archer fish that can shoot water at the faces of humans that they recognize.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's
That's so
great.
fun. Oh,
Very
it
fun.
got better.
Yep. So if any of your friends get a pet archer fish and they listen to this show, maybe be suspicious if you come to their house and they're like, "Come look at my fish with the top off the tank."
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah, because we want to hear about the time you got shot in the face with the archer fish.
Archerfish, yes, absolutely.
We are going to take a break before this goes on any longer, and when we come back from the break, it will be Rachel's turn.
I'm so excited. Kirk, your topic was great. I really appreciated it. Welcome back, everyone.
Good.
I love science. I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to anyone who listens to the show. I love science. Okay.
Rachel, I am shocked. Shocked that you would say such a thing.
Oh, I know. What a surprise.
I could only be more shocked if your topic somehow involved the ocean or Australia.
both.
So let's go to Australia. Yeah, we're really
Rachel,
going
you
to
are
Australia.
so
boy.
predictable. So
Okay,
predictable.
I couldn't not, and you'll understand why in a little bit. But like,
Okay.
boy, howdy, is there news coming from down under.
Okay.
So this actually is really recent. This came out in a journal article it was published this year in 2025. Okay, so this broke
Alright.
in January 2025. So it's really recent. We are not strangers, haha, on this show to the dangerous Kirk is
Stranger
shaking
danger?
his head. We are not to the dangerous or the venomous or even the combination of those, especially in regards to Australia. We've covered this many, many different times,
Sure.
but we have yet to talk about one of the most dangerous spiders out there that makes its
Ooh,
home
okay.
in Australia.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Have y'all heard of the Sydney funnel web spider at all?
Yes.
I think so.
I
yeah.
believe that I have. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you what it is about it.
Okay.
I know that
I've
some
heard
of the
of it.
funnel web spiders are not your friend.
This is not your friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The reason why it's pinging your brain, but also you can't think of what it looks like, is because the most generic looking spider I've seen in a long time, it
Okay.
has 8 legs, has little
You don't
mandible.
say.
Yeah, I know. And it is a shiny black.
Okay.
That's it. There's no distinguishing features or anything like that. It is a shiny black spider. Okay. It, by definition, it is a funnel web spider. So it creates webs. It gets its name based off of the types of webs that it makes. So it looks a lot like a funnel. It creates these big tunnels that it hides within, and then it'll lay eggs and do those types of things inside of that funnel web. Now, it's called the Sydney
Sure.
funnel web spider because it makes its home in the space where Sydney is. So it loves the suburbs. It loves garages. It will just find a spot and make its home, and that's it. You do not want to be near them, however, because this is one of the most dangerous spiders out there.
Well, that's just unfortunate that it's in the biggest population center in the continent.
Isn't it?
Right.
Now, they were first described by Western science in 1877. Like I said, they've thrived. They haven't really gone down in population or anything like that in that space. And it's been found that they are, Kirk, you talked about this last time in pedantry. They have been found to be extremely venomous.
Lovely. Lovely.
To the
Nice.
in their venom, they have a pretty powerful neurotoxin.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where, if left untreated, once bitten, humans can die within 15 minutes of being bit.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is no
Whoa.
joke. So 15 minutes. It is a very
Holy moly.
powerful neurotoxin. Okay.
Oh.
Sounds fun, huh?
No, does not.
Absolutely not.
You are incorrect.
Well, it turns out the Sydney funnel web spider is not actually one species, but
Oh, okay.
3 species.
Oh, and this is the new thing that is figured out.
This is the new thing they just figured out. They so scientists went in and they actually collected a bunch of species, because they do anyway for anti-venom. They have to. That was invented in the 1980s, and I will say the anti-venom for any of the species will work for each other. That
Okay.
being said, so it's 3 different species. One of them, the Newcastle funnel web spider, is twice the size of the other 2.
Oh.
Coming
Wow.
in at, when spread fully, 9 centimeters, also known as
Oh.
3.5 inches.
That's a big spider.
Excuse me?
No, thank you.
Yeah. It's
No.
a big spider.
I'm
so,
out.
like, even like the regular, like the Sydney funnel web spider, the actual Sydney funnel web spider is
Yeah.
1.5 inches. Okay, that's 1.5.
There's something
That's
to be
too
said
big.
for like a really big spider. You're not gonna like not notice it, right? So
Right.
I do have an
Right.
appreciation for that.
Yeah, you
Fair.
should, because it actually has larger. They found that this Newcastle species has larger venom sacs, so they
Oh,
can
good.
hold more venom
Oh,
that can
Good.
kill you within 15 minutes. And
Good.
they actually have longer fangs too. So
Also
Ah.
lovely.
so they've been found to be able to. I don't know if they quite can pierce through leather, but they do have longer fangs to better bite things with.
No.
No,
Yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
good
not
for
a huge
them.
fan. Right. Good for them, but also not a huge fan. Like, okay. But so this just came out, and scientists really went for it.
Boy. Bracing myself here.
Victoria looks so uncomfortable right now.
You should. So I mentioned those are all of the like main points, but this is one of the most famous spiders that happens to be in Australia. They went for it. They named it colloquially. Sure. They named it Big Boy.
Big Boy. Nice.
So there are like I said, there's 3 different species. They've been collected in different areas, but they went for the biggest one, which is called Atrax christini, I believe. If I'm saying Christini, you know, like Christian Cini, you know, pray for Jesus kind of thing. If you see it, and it's
okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And they just call it Big Boy. And I saw that, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's called what? It's so fun. So scientists have been they've been going around, they've been collecting all of these different samples, and they noticed that there was quite a bit of a size difference, and they wondered whether or not they were different species, because the males tend to be larger than the females in this spider, and they tend to be more venomous. So they were wondering whether or not it was it was just a male versus female, or is it
a sexual dimorphism?
Exactly. So they went through and they actually worked on the taxonomy for this. So they ended up separating them into 3 distinct species, which is really cool. And they published an article, and the article is called "The World's Most Venomous Spider is a Species Complex," which means more than one species. Systematics of the Sydney funnel web spider. And it was published in an open access journal.
Yay.
The BMC Ecology and Evolution in January of 2025. And the authors were Stephanie Loria et al. There's other people who were contributing to it. By the way, the person who was first collecting the Big Boy spider, he looks so excited about it, which I expect all spider scientists to look like that, but he just looks too excited to be dealing with the most venomous spider.
Big Boy.
I think we need to call that scientist Big Boy.
I think so. My other sources this week were the Australian Museum. I got this originally from Live Science and Australian Geographic. All had excellent sources about this particular deadly spider. Absolutely awful. Good for them. That is all I have for you all this week. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it'll be Victoria.
Have you ever thought about what would happen if your airline window popped out? Or if you can build a jetpack using only machine guns? Turns out you can, but you really shouldn't. Hi, I'm Jill Chacha, host of a podcast that's for weird people who like learning about weird stuff. It's called, well, That's Interesting. And it's a comedy science-y show that tells the story behind the facts, because as it turns out, those stories are funny. Every Thursday, I tell the tale behind a new, odd discovery, like how researchers found 2 mysterious structures surrounding Earth's core, or how it's actually possible to stop hiccups using a rectal massage. Yes, there's a story behind that, no pun intended, and I tell the story because storytelling is the perfect way to learn and remember. The facts are bizarre, the stories are epic, and the laughter is plentiful, so join the flock and listen to Well, That's Interesting, wherever you do podcasts.
We're back. I am not talking exactly about an Australian animal, but I think these are near Australia.
All right.
Probably.
It's a very pro-Australia forward episode here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw another photo of the big boy spider. Keep going.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about octopuses. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
I love
we all
octopuses.
know, yeah, they're incredibly cool, right? I have talked about octopuses on the show before. Specifically, I talked about octopus venom way back in episode 2. And
Good gracious.
yeah,
Wow.
about the Argonaut octopus, which makes its own little shell that it floats around.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that one? Yeah, that was episode 95. But octopuses are just widely known for being incredibly intelligent. You know, many species have amazing camouflage, all kinds of cool stuff that we haven't really talked about in a lot of detail. Today, though, I want to talk about an octopus behavior that was published about recently that kind of blew my mind.
Okay.
I have always had the impression of octopuses being quite solitary creatures, not known to be social, right?
That's fair.
Right. I'm wondering if you're
but
taking something that has been on my list for a very long time. You might be. Keep
Well-
going.
okay. Well, this species that I'm going to talk about is social, but in a very specific way. So this species is called Octopus cyanea, also known as the Big Blue Octopus or the day octopus.
Okay.
Nice.
And it does live in the Indian and Pacific Oceans, so I'm assuming also around Australia.
That would track, yeah.
Yes. And this octopus actually teams up with various species of fish to go hunting.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I have to take it off my list.
Yes. Nice.
No joke. I'm looking. It's been on my list. It is these are all the topics that I've ever had. It has been
Well, this was only published. Maybe this
Maybe it's
behavior was
something
known
else.
about the paper that I'm talking about was published in September of 2024, but perhaps
Ooh.
the bigger behavior was
I'm gonna
known
hold on to it
before
then.
that.
I've had it since bobtail squid at the very least. So
Okay.
it was 128 out of 161, I guess. Anyway, keep going.
Interesting the different systems we use.
I know.
Anyway, this paper, these octopus, day octopus, will cooperate with fish, particularly a group of species called goatfish, to hunt down
That's a great
prey.
name.
What a
Yeah.
name. That's so fun.
I didn't look any further into goatfish. I'm not sure why they're called goatfish, but
I want to know.
now I sort of need to know. They will team up to hunt down prey that hide in the crevices of the reef. So this paper was published in September of 2024 in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution, which is an open access journal. Yay!
Woo!
And these marine biologists evaluated the group dynamics of these hunting parties and came to the conclusion that the octopus is the leader of the pack.
Oh.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom, right.
Nice. I did
Oh,
look,
boy.
by the way, goatfish are because it has 2 chin barbels looking like a goatee.
Okay. Got it.
Nice. Okay,
These-
makes sense.
There's the octopus, there's the fish kind of going out and exploring different directions, seeing where might be good food. They found that if the octopus did not follow a particular fish, the fish would relatively quickly come back to the octopus in the center of the group. But
Huh.
if the octopus decided to follow one of the fish, one of the scouts, the rest of the fish would then follow the octopus.
Huh.
Huh.
So, to quote the paper, they said, group dynamics can be divided into 2 functional roles. Goatfish, in particular blue goatfish, explore space and determine where the group may go, whereas the octopus decides if and when the group goes.
Huh.
Cool.
Yeah. And then the way it works after this is usually the octopus is the one who tries to grab the prey. Either they're putting one of their arms in or they kind of like put their body over and suck it out or something. But sometimes the prey gets away from them or it flushes out other animals. And this is how the fish in the hunting party benefit because they can then, clean up, grab whatever the
Probably a little
octopus
faster.
doesn't. Yeah. And for the octopus, it is able to hunt more efficiently with these fish scouting for it, because otherwise it's just kind of going a bit more haphazardly to try to find where it could get a meal.
Cool.
Okay, but there's more. There's more.
Good.
It gets better.
So if the fish start crowding around the octopus a little too closely, things start to get a bit wild.
Oh dear.
There's one species of fish in particular, the black-tip grouper, that tends to hang out around these hunting parties, but doesn't actually contribute by exploring or offering directions to go. And when these and other fish just stop exploring and kind of hang around the octopus, biologists actually recorded the octopus just like winds up and punches the fish.
Okay, there you go.
One of its arms.
I saw footage of that online. Yeah,
That's
that
so
I had
fun.
seen.
It's great. Yeah, you got to check out the video. It's like, bam, get out of here.
You're useless.
Go explore.
To me.
Do your job.
Be useless.
It's fantastic.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah, so it's hilarious on its own terms, but also the research was fascinating because most of the research done on animal social interactions and cooperation and leadership looks at cooperation within a species. But here, not only were these different species, they're completely different phyla. Like mollusks and vertebrates.
Closely related.
Yeah.
No, they diverged 550 million years ago.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's just
That's
across
so
a very
cool.
wide gulf.
Still getting along though.
Yeah, they're getting along. And it's also interesting because it shows how a non-social animal like the octopus can actually behave in social ways when it benefits it to do so.
That's so cool.
It reminds me of, was it also your story, Victoria, the honey guide?
No, I wasn't
that
the
was-
one who did that. That was Rachel.
That was me.
That was you. Okay, yeah. Where it's like two very different species, you know.
Yeah.
Humans
together.
and birds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I have. My sources this week
So
were an
cool.
article in the New York Times by Elizabeth Preston, and then the paper itself is titled Multidimensional Social Influence Drives Leadership and Composition-Dependent Success in Octopus Fish Hunting Groups. That's by Eduardo Sampaio and colleagues.
I mean,
That's
the
so
octopus
cool.
punching fish is the best part.
Yes.
It truly is. That's so
absolutely
fun.
Bam. All right, that's what we got for you guys this week.
Thanks, all.
Fantastic. What a show. What a show, everybody.
What a time.
I look forward every week to getting together and hearing about all kinds of cool stuff. And once again, you've outdone yourself.
You did
Indeed.
too, Archer.
Good job, everybody.
My gosh. We did so good this week. Good job.
Thank you, scientists, for making our jobs easy.
Truly.
Hope the listeners enjoyed it as much as we did.
Exactly. All
See
right.
y'all next week.
If you did, drop us a note. Contact us either on Instagram or on the Podbean app if you're a Podbean person, or
we're on-
if you're
we're on
watching
Blue
this
Sky, yeah?
on. We're on Blue Sky now. We can contact us there. You can contact us through YouTube if you're watching like the video version is just the audio with a non-moving static image, but I know some
Our
people like to watch
logo.
it on there. Our logo, yes. So wherever you are, leave a comment so we know what you think about it. If you have ideas for something you want to hear us talk about on the show, you can also email us at contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. So excited that everybody was here this week.
Woohoo!
All right.
Bye.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach us by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can check out our website, strangebynaturepodcast.com, and you can support the show and get ad-free episodes at patreon.com/strangebynature. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.